Mure Zimbabwe, welcome back Pamzinda Weban. Now, sometimes in politics, the most explosive thing is not what someone does. It is what they claim not to know. Right, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, the man who just flew his helicopter to Cricket Farm, Kukweko, for a working visit with President Mnangagwa 2 days ago, has publicly stated that he was completely unaware that Wikno Chivhayo is currently under active investigation by South African law enforcement. The president of South Africa, the man whose own elite crime unit, the Hawks, confirmed their investigation into Chivhayo, is top priority. Chivhayo ari kutoinvestigate all zviya zvimwe zviri rimwe level paSouth Africa. Saka mukomana Chivhayo paSouth Africa anokwanisa kuti haatopinda from what we see. Akatopinda paSouth Africa mukomana ari kutobatwa. Right, the man whose own financial intelligence center documented $800 million flowing into Chivhayo's accounts. The man whose own courts just froze Chivhayo's bank accounts and grounded his private jet. That man flew to Zimbabwe, sat at a table with Chivhayo, reportedly present. In fact, and says he did not know his own hawks were investigating him. Either South Africa's intelligence services failed to brief their own president, or the president is not being honest. Mure Zimbabwe, you decide which one is more terrifying. Ask to say sure, or argue, but in the So let's talk about the visit. What was really happening at that farm, Prikebu? When Ramaphosa's helicopter touched down at Prikeb Farm in Kwekwe on May 3rd, the official cameras showed rustic camaraderie, maize fields, cattle, fish being stocked in a dam. The South African president called it a working visit on issues of shared and mutual interest. But as the Democratic Alliance in South Africa, its official position immediately asked the question everybody was thinking: why is the president of South Africa having a working visit with a man whose administration is connected to a person under active South African criminal investigation? They went further. They called Chivhayo and Tagbire the Zimbabwean Guptas. The Guptas, the name that nearly destroyed the ANC under Zuma. The wound Ramaphosa built his entire political identity around healing. And now his critics are saying, you flew to visit their Zimbabwean equivalents, and you sat at their table, and you say you did not know. Right. What Ramaphosa claims to not know, the investigation, get better about that, Zimbabwe family. Let us be very specific about what exactly Ramaphosa claims ignorance of, because the details are staggering. The Hawks confirmed their investigation into suspicious financial flows linked to Zimbabwe's treasury payments to Renform CC is very much alive and being given top opportunity. The FIC findings were also shared with the United States Department of Justice and the FBI. Hakumana ndakaporomora muZimbabwe ari kusunga vanhu saka kune vamwe vakaporomora muZimbabwe vanenge vachitsvagwa vakomana muZimbabwe vana Chivhayo vana Tagbire vanenge vari free, but vari kutsvagwa on an international level. Top priority muZimbabwe shared with the FBI. This is not a quiet background inquiry. This is an active, escalating, internationally connected criminal investigation into a man who was reportedly at the same farm meeting where Ramaphosa claims he knew nothing. Renform invoiced ZEC 23 million rands for a central server that costs 90,000 rands online. Renform ndokuda ndo chikampani chaWicknerish chakachaja $23 million for chinhu chinocosta 90,000. I mean, zvimwe zvacho zvingoita semajokes. Makuya muchipiwa tumota moita senge munaita something. Biometric voter kits tripled in price between original quote and final invoice. Over 800 million rands of the 1.1 billion rands paid by Zimbabwe's treasury was transferred into accounts linked to Chivhayo. This is the investigation Ramaphosa says he did not know about, An investigation his own financial intelligence board initiated, documented, and handed to his own elite crime unit, who called it top priority and shared it with the Americans. Zimbabwe, get connected the Chivhayo, na Chivhayo. Why this matters for Cape 3 also. Zimbabwe. Here is why this is not just a corruption story. Here is why it connects directly to everything we have been covering about Cape 3 and the 2030 agenda. The wealth generated by businessmen like Chivhayo is viewed as a strategic reserve for the political survival of liberation movements, a shared resource between parties facing electoral pressure across the region. Strategic reserve. That means the 800 million rands allegedly flowing through Chivhayo's accounts is not just personal enrichment, it is political infrastructure. It funds the MP gifts, the residential stands, the party machinery, the Cape 3 campaign, the manufactured protests, the whole operation that is trying to push through a constitutional amendment that removes your right to vote for your own president. And the men whose hawks are investigating that infrastructure just flew to Zimbabwe and said he did not know it was happening. Zimbabwe, let's talk about the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. Closed its probe in December 2025, citing that lack of contractual evidence, despite 800 million rands being physically traced into Chivhayo's accounts. The trail is cold, hard, and undeniable. It shows a massive siphoning of Zimbabwean taxpayer funds into South African accounts. So Zimbabwe cleared him without telling South Africa. South Africa is still investigating. The FBI has the files, and the man connecting all of it was reportedly present at a diplomatic meeting between two heads of state, while one of them claims total ignorance. Zimbabwe. The DA asked the right question. If Ramaphosa genuinely did not know, that is a catastrophic intelligence failure by the South African security establishment. Your president flying into the orbit of an active hoax investigation target without being briefed, that is a problem. But if he did know and chose to go anyway and chose to say he did not know, then what we witnessed at Pre-Cape Farm was not diplomacy. It was two leaders protecting a shared financial ecosystem, a regional survival pact, not just between liberation movements, but between the men whose money funds those movements. While Chivhayo was distributing luxury vehicles like candy to buy social capital, the law in Pretoria was quietly sharpening its blade. The private jet is grounded. The bank accounts are frozen. And investigations of this nature take long to conclude. Zimbabwe. The blade is sharpening in Pretoria, legally, undeniably, and no working visit to a maize farm can stop it. May 18th is coming. And the man whose money has been buying the votes for Cape 3 is sitting in South Africa with a frozen jet, while his president claims he never heard a thing. Drop your thoughts, Zimbabwe. Do you believe Ramaphosa genuinely did not know? And does this change how you see his intervention in Zimbabwe's constitutional crisis? And also, tose toziva kuti pane news dzabudiswa. Comrade Nox Chivhayo wabudisa a video. So that it's a long one, but hey, unoona kana unga usingazivi zviri kuitika muZimbabwe, now unonga wakuziva zvese once waona that video. He explained everything about how ushamwari hwaMnangagwa naTagure hwakatanga sei. Hanzi vana Chivhayo vaya havana mari dzakambowanda, havana zvizhinji vaya, vari kungotampiswa mafrand. But waka-explain everything. That is a very important video, that one. It's on Blessed Geza. It's still the Blessed Geza Revolution Winamberi. It's on Blessed Geza's YouTube channel. Ndo pari kutaura comrade Nox Chivhayo, ndo pari kutaura Chiwenga, because this is the mouthpiece. Kana Ministry of Information, Ministry of what? Yes, ndo mouthpiece Chiwenga, vana comrade Nox Chivhayo. So stay tuned, Mrez Babu. Thank you for watching.